Hello and welcome to another video. So in forest school we do a lot of talking about fire steels or ferrocerium rods because they are a great introduction to fire lighting. They require a bit more thought and a bit more effort than, say, matches or a lighter. They are relatively safe and they can be used with a wide variety of tinders, and they start building those essential skills of fire lighting and give children achievement, a chance to practice new things. In my previous video on the Tinder Masterclass, where I talked through a range of tinders, I was talking very much about pushing our own skills as well as pushing our learners further. So once you've got a child who's really good at cotton wool, you go, okay, can you use dry lint? You move on to fat wood, you move on to using all sorts of other tinders. But what do you do once you've kind of exhausted that and you still want to push the children further? And that's where I would suggest you take a look at using Flint and Steel. Now, this is really a great way to engage some of those more confident fire starters because it'll be a next level of challenge. And if they like playing Minecraft at all, it's the idea of using Flint and Steel will hook them immediately. So I'm just going to show you exactly how to get started with Flint and Steel. So if you're interested in upgrading your fire lighting skills and pushing the limits a bit more, then keep watching. To get started with Flint and Steel, there are a few different things that you will need. So first of all, you will need a steel striker. I like the ones that have the guard that goes all the way around the back. Really handy, so this kind of almost B shape. So you're looking for a steel striker, some flint. Now, if you're not in an area where you can easily find flint, it's typically the south and the east of the country, then I'd suggest making friends with someone who is there and getting them to send you some flint. If you do want to buy it online, you can, but it does tend to be quite expensive. So it's really worth just reach out on a forest school forum or bushcraft forum, and I'm sure you'll be able to find someone who'd be willing to send you some for the cost of postage. The other thing you're going to need is some charred material. So this will be the thing that catches the spark. So you need to make some char cloth. And it's relatively simple to make it. You need a tin with a hole in the top, and you go pack that full of a cotton cloth, 100% cotton cloth, because synthetic obviously will melt, whereas we want to char. You go pop that in the fire, and you're going to basically burn all of the impurities out of the fibers, so you only have a very light weave left. So you put that in, keep going until it stops smoking, put it aside to cool, and then you should have some really nice thin friable material char cloth. But I can do an entire video on that, so if you'd like to learn more about that, there are other videos out there, but I can do that one if you're interested. Then we need something to hold that ember. So we're going to need something that is fibrous. So dry grass, straw, cleavers, or sticky weed, bracken. There's all sorts of things you can make a tinder bundle out of. Again, could be a totally different video. The first thing we're going to want to do is make a tinder bundle, or you can think of it as an ember nest. So we just want a really densely packed bundle of that hay or grass, whatever. This is relatively short stemmed, even though I did get the long stemmed variety from the shop. But this is a great activity to get some of the children working on, creating essentially what would be a bird's nest. And you just go shape it. You want a little densely packed dish in the center that's going to hold the ember. But as I said, you can make it into a whole activity, like how would you make a bird's nest using what do we use for the outside, getting some really thin fluffy material like reed mace or thistle seed heads be really useful in the center there. Obviously it can be quite panic inducing if the tinder bundle that a child is holding goes up in flames like it's supposed to. So if I'm working with younger children, and particularly with those that I know they are likely to panic a little, then I use one of these to hold the tinder bundle. This was introduced to me by Bushcraft, so big shout out to them for the fantastic work they do. So this is essentially just a little basket, wire basket on the end of a stick. And this allows either you, the practitioner, or the child to hold a tinder bundle safely like that. And then we can pop the ember into the middle here, and we can then hold it at arm's length, and there is an element of safety and security for the child. On the subject of safety, it is generally considered a good practice to wear glasses, safety glasses, when striking flint, because flint has a tendency to fracture and you tend to get chips flying off. Now I've had one of those chips fly off when I was doing flint napping on a course, and it ended up in my eye, and it was not very pleasant at all. In general, it is recommended to use safety glasses, particularly if you're working where you're responsible for the children in your care. So this is going to be do as I say, not as I do, so wear safety glasses. But in general, I've found that for me, and when I'm working with adults, I give them the option of the glasses and I suggest it, and it is part of my risk assessment. But if you hold the flint a good arm's length away, the risk is reduced quite a bit. As I said, this is something that you really should use your own judgment with. Don't follow what I say, make your own judgments and decisions. So what we're going to do is we're going to be striking bits of metal off the flint striker, and to do that we are going to be using the sharp edge of a piece of flint. Now flint, when it's just been fractured, hit it a couple of times, it breaks into smaller pieces, you get very sharp edges, and those are the edges we're looking for when we are going to be striking our flint. As we come down, we are striking bits of metal off, and they're creating now I'm talking about cool as in the temperature of it. So if we are talking about the temperature of fire steel, we're talking very high temperatures, but the sparks you're getting from a flint and steel are going to be very low, which is part of the reason why we want to use chalk cloth, something that is very fine and will take a spark easily. So to get started, the technique you're going to be looking at is, first of all, you're going to make a fist straight in front of you, and then you go open up your hand and you're just going to insert the striker in, and you go hold it towards the side. You can see from the top end that I've got it to the side. I'm not thinking knuckle dusters straight ahead. Is going to be at 90 degrees to the direction of my arm. This gives me that little gap in between the steel and my knuckles and protects them from the sharp edges of the flint. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the striker down and just go and knock it right against that sharp edge. Now it does require a bit of force, does require a really good hit, so you go bring it down and strike. If you're not having any success on a particular edge, then switch it around, have a look at a different edge and see whether you can get a spark there. You may well need to, if your flint's been used for quite some time, may need to shift it around, may need to break another piece off again, but get a nice sharp edge. Then once you're getting consistent sparks, we can then take a bit of our chalk cloth, and what we're going to do is we're going to put it on top of our piece of flint like that, so really close to the edge that you are using to strike, because as we're going to come down, we're going to be striking there, and we're going to be knocking sparks up and hopefully dropping them onto our piece of char cloth. So once we've had a spark land on, what you'll have is a little ember. Once we've got our ember, we're just going to tip it into the center of our tinder bundle and essentially tuck it in. So just go fold the top over. So we've got our tinder bundle in the center there. Okay, so we can see we've got a few drifts of smoke, and we're going to turn our back to the wind. And we're just going to bring it up to our mouth, and then we're just going to blow into the center of the tinder bundle. Long slow breath. And we're going to drop it down as we take a breath in, bring it up. Now you might need to pack it. If there's not enough material really close to the tinder bundle, you might need to pack it around a bit more. Then long, slow breaths. And once you've got flames, then you can then empty that into a fire pit, and there you go. That'll basically be the start of your fire. Well, there you go. I hope that's given you the encouragement you need to give it a try, to have a practice on your own, and then maybe try it with some select children that are really starting to develop that fire skill set and looking to be pushed further. It is a bit of an exercise in perseverance, in resilience, and it is tricky, and it will take some time for children to get it, and it will take some time for you to get it. I don't consider myself an expert in flint and steel either at this point. I can get there relatively consistently, but it's something that, just like with anything else, it's a skill that you develop over time. And it's a good thing to remind those children that are really confident with fire steel that they can do it first time, every time, that there was a time when they were beginners once, and they succeeded once, and they can succeed again. As with many things with bushcraft and forest school, it's building that confidence, building that resilience, building that sense of achievement, and building those skills that will give them confidence to go forward. So I just want to say a big thank you to Wellness Woodlands for once again hosting these videos. The site is really starting to come alive now. We've got the first signs of spring with the primroses out, and this beautiful sunshine, which is playing havoc with my camera though. It is getting closer to spring and summer, and the camping season is almost upon us. It'll be June before we know it. It's 4 months till June. And if you're looking for somewhere to get away that's not the end of the world or abroad, this is a really nice corner of the area of the West Midlands. So if you're looking for a woodland campsite, a place, a really beautiful campsite, something you can take your children to, I really do recommend it. I'll leave a link to their site in the description below. I do recommend checking that out. With that, thank you so much again for watching, and remember, make the most of every day. See you in the next video.